Imagine standing at your parents' 40th anniversary party, surrounded by 50 beaming faces, clinking champagne glasses. Then, in that very room, my own parents, the people who should love her most, looked directly at my 12-year-old daughter and called her the dumb one. My heart didn't just sink. It shattered into a million pieces right there. My name is Victoria Nash, and I'm 38 years old. That Saturday, in a moment that still burns in my memory, my parents exposed a wound in our family that ran deeper than I ever imagined. My daughter, Emma, was sitting at the kids' table, quiet, trying to disappear. Beside her sat my niece, Sophia, same age, but a complete opposite. Sophia was the golden grandchild, straight A's, gifted program, a piano prodigy. Emma, on the other hand, is different. She has dyslexia. School has always been a battle for her. She works harder than anyone I know, but reading just doesn't come easy. My parents, they never understood, never even tried to. The party hummed with celebration until my mom clinked her champagne glass. A hush fell. "We want to thank everyone for celebrating 40 beautiful years with us," she announced, her voice full of warmth. "And we have some exciting news to share." My dad stood, a proud smile fixed on Sophia. "We've been thinking about our legacy, about passing down what we've built," he began. "And we've decided that our granddaughter, Sophia, will inherit the family home and the $250,000 trust fund we've established." The room erupted in applause. My sister, Rachel, Sophia's mom, beamed. My stomach dropped as my eyes found Emma. Her face was crumpling, a desperate effort to hold back tears. Rachel, glowing, chimed in, "Thank you so much. Sophia will treasure this legacy." But Mom wasn't done. Her gaze, cold and direct, landed on Emma. "Now, we love both our granddaughters," she stated, "but Sophia has shown real promise, real intelligence. She'll do something meaningful with this inheritance." My blood turned to ice. Then my dad added, "Emma's a sweet girl, of course, but let's be honest, she's the dumb one. She'll probably be fine with a simple life. She doesn't need this kind of responsibility. The dumb one." He said it out loud, in front of 50 people, about my precious 12-year-old daughter. Emma bolted. She pushed away from the table, ran to the bathroom, and the faint sound of her heartbroken sobs reached me. As I started to rise, a hand clamped onto my arm. It was Rachel. "Don't make a scene, Victoria. They're just being practical." Practical? My rage boiled. I yanked my arm free, a silent fury propelling me forward. The room was still buzzing with celebration, completely oblivious to the pain they'd just inflicted. I walked to the front, my steps deliberate. I picked up a champagne glass, clinked it sharply with a fork. Clink. The sound echoed, cutting through the chatter, silencing the entire room. Every eye was on me. "I have an announcement, too," I said, my voice steady, eerily calm. Mom's eyes widened, a flicker of nervousness crossing her face. "Victoria, this isn't the time." I met her gaze, a small, chilling smile forming on my lips. "Oh, it's the perfect time. You just announced that my daughter, Emma, is too dumb to inherit anything." I continued, the words sharp, cutting through the stunned silence. "That she'll live a simple life, that she doesn't deserve your legacy." The silence was deafening now. "I want everyone here to know something about Emma," I declared, my voice rising. "Something my parents clearly don't know." I pulled out my phone, navigating to a photo. Last month, Emma entered the National Youth Science Competition. She built a water filtration system that removes 98% of contaminants using recycled materials. I held up the phone for everyone to see. Out of 5,000 entries nationwide, she placed third. My parents' faces went from shocked to ghostly pale. She also writes poetry. Beautiful poetry. She's had 3 poems published in literary magazines. At 12 years old, I looked directly at my sister. Sophia's talented, no doubt, but Emma's not dumb. She's dyslexic. There's a difference. My mom tried to interject. "We didn't know." My reply was swift and cold. "You didn't know because you never asked. You just labeled her and moved on." I turned to my dad. "That $250,000 trust fund? Emma doesn't need it because last week I found out that my daughter—" By the way, if you're still with me, completely hooked on this unbelievable family drama, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. More powerful, raw stories are coming, and you won't want to miss them. Emma was invited to apply for a special summer program at MIT, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, one of the best science schools in the world. The room erupted into a frenzy of whispers. My parents looked utterly devastated. Emma was diagnosed with severe dyslexia when she was just 7. Her second-grade teacher called me in, explaining that Emma was significantly behind in reading, performing at a first-grade level. My heart sank. The test confirmed it. Letters flipped. Words scrambled. Reading was pure torture for her. I dove into research, found specialists, and enrolled her in tutoring 3 times a week, sometimes more. It was expensive, exhausting, but Emma worked tirelessly. My parents, they waved it off. She just needs to focus more, Dad would say. Some kids are just slower learners, Mom would add. When I tried to explain dyslexia, they dismiss it. That's just a fancy word for not being smart enough. Eventually, I stopped talking to them about it. Meanwhile, my sister Rachel's daughter, Sophia, soared. Straight A's from kindergarten, reading chapter books by first grade, winning spelling bees, excelling at piano. Every family dinner became a Sophia appreciation session. Did you hear Sophia won the math competition? Sophia's teacher says she's the smartest student she's ever had. Sophia is going to Harvard someday. We just know it. Emma would sit there, quietly pushing food around her plate. One night, when she was 9, she asked me, her voice barely a whisper, "Mom, am I stupid?" My heart broke.
What?
No, honey, why would you ever think that? She looked up, her eyes wide and wet. Grandma said I'm not as smart as Sophia, that I'll never be able to do what she does. I was furious. I confronted my mom the next day. Did you tell Emma she's not smart? She feigned innocence. I didn't say that exactly. I just said Sophia has special gifts. Emma will find her own path, a simpler one. She's 9 years old. I retorted, "You're crushing her confidence." My mother's response, "I'm being realistic, Victoria. Not every child is gifted." That's when I truly understood. My parents had written Emma off.
But Emma?
She never gave up. With tutoring, reading slowly shifted from torture to difficult, then to manageable. By 5th grade, she was reading at grade level. She still worked twice as hard as her peers, but she did it. And she discovered a passion: science, environmental science, water quality, pollution, conservation. She'd spend hours watching documentaries, reading articles online, taking notes in her messy, dyslexic handwriting. One day, at 11, she came to me, eyes shining.
"Mom, I want to build something."
A water filter for people who don't have clean water. That's a great idea, sweetie. Like for a school project. "No," she said, her determination unwavering. "For real. There's a competition, the National Youth Science Competition. I want to enter." The competition was for kids up to 18. "Are you sure?" I asked. "That's pretty advanced." "I can do it. I know I can." We cleared a corner of the garage, set up a workspace. For 6 months, she researched, experimented, failed, tried again. She built a filtration system using sand, gravel, activated charcoal, and recycled plastic bottles. It wasn't fancy, but it worked. 98% contaminant removal. She submitted her project. I didn't tell my parents. I knew they'd dismiss it. 2 months later, we got the call. Emma placed 3rd out of 5,000 entries nationwide. I cried. Emma cried. We celebrated with ice cream and a movie. I thought about telling my parents, but then I imagined they're dismissive. "That's nice, honey. Did you hear Sophia won the state piano competition?" So I kept it to myself. Then came the poetry. Emma started writing little verses, first about nature, about water, about feeling different. Her tutor noticed. "Victoria, Emma has a gift for language. Her writing is beautiful. She sees the world differently. It comes through in her poetry. You should encourage this."
I did.
I bought her a journal, encouraged her to write every day. She filled 3 journals in 6 months. One day, she asked, "Mom, do you think anyone would want to read my poems? Like real people, not just you." I helped her submit to a youth literary magazine just for the experience. 3 weeks later, they accepted one, publishing it in their spring edition. Then another magazine accepted 2 more. At 12 years old, Emma had 3 published poems. I was bursting with pride, but again, I kept it from my parents. What was the point? Then just last week, something incredible happened. Emma came home from school, clutching an official-looking envelope. "Mom, this came for me today." I opened it, read it twice, my hands trembling. It was from MIT, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. They were starting a new summer program for gifted young scientists, ages 12 to 15. Emma's science competition project had caught their attention. They were inviting her to apply. "Emma," I choked out. "Do you know what this means?" "Is it good?" she asked, her voice small. "MIT is one of the best science schools in the world. They want you." She stared at the letter, then looked up at me, a heartbreaking question in her eyes. But I'm the dumb one. Grandpa said so. My heart shattered all over again. You are not dumb, Emma. You never were. Then why does everyone think I am? She whispered. Because they don't understand dyslexia. They don't see how hard you work, how brilliant you actually are. She looked up, hope rekindling. Do you think I could get into the program? I think you can do anything you set your mind to. We filled out the application that night. 2 days later, my parents called. Victoria, we're planning our anniversary party. 40 years. We want to make a big announcement. What announcement? I asked, a knot forming in my stomach. We're finalizing our estate planning. We want to announce who's inheriting what. And well, Sophia's been doing so well, straight A's. Piano leadership. We're leaving the house and the trust fund to her. What about Emma? Oh, we'll leave Emma some money, of course. Maybe $20,000. Enough to help her get started in whatever simple career she chooses. $20,000 versus $250,000. Mom, Emma's not. We've made our decision, Victoria. It's what's fair. Fair? The anniversary party was 3 days later. I almost didn't go. Almost kept Emma home. But then I thought, no. My parents needed to hear the truth. Emma wore her favorite dress, tried to smile, but I could see the sadness etched in her eyes. At the kids' table, Sophia chattered nonstop about her achievements. Emma remained quiet, a shadow. Then came the announcement. My parents, smiling, champagne glasses raised. Sophia will inherit the house and the trust fund. She's shown real promise, real intelligence. Then Dad, his gaze deliberately finding Emma, added, Emma's a sweet girl, but let's be honest, she's the dumb one. I watched my daughter's face crumble, just like before. That was it. I stood. I walked to the front of the room, clinked my glass. I have an announcement, too. The room went silent. You just called my daughter dumb in front of 50 people. My mom's face went crimson. Victoria, we didn't mean. Let me tell you what the dumb one did this year. I pulled out my phone, showed them Emma's Science Competition Award. 3rd place, nationwide. 5,000 entries. She beat kids twice her age. I scrolled to her published poems. 3 published in major literary magazines. At 12 years old, my parents' faces were ashen. And last week, I continued. Emma received this. I held up the letter from MIT, an invitation to apply to their summer program for gifted young scientists. MIT, one of the best schools in the world. The room erupted in whispers. Emma's not dumb. She has dyslexia, which means her brain works differently. She has to work twice as hard to read. But she does it and she excels. I looked at Sophia, then back at my parents. Your granddaughter is talented. Absolutely. But so is mine. You just never bothered to notice. Dad tried to speak. We didn't know because you never asked. You labeled her at 7 years old and gave up on her. Mom was openly crying now. We're sorry. We didn't understand. You didn't want to understand. I corrected, my voice unwavering. It was easier to compare, to pick a favorite, to write Emma off. Rachel stood up, trying to defuse the situation. Victoria, this isn't the time. When is the time, Rachel? After you've collected your inheritance? After Emma spent her whole childhood thinking she's worthless. I turned back to my parents, my resolve firm. Keep your trust fund. Keep your house. Emma doesn't need it. She's going to earn her own success. And she's going to do it without you. I walked over to Emma, extended my hand. Come on, baby. We're leaving. She stood, tears streaming down her face, and took my hand. As we walked out, I heard my dad call after us. Victoria, please, let's talk about this. I didn't turn around. In the car, the silence was thick until Emma finally spoke. Mom, did you mean all that? About me being smart? Every single word. I affirmed, my own voice thick with emotion. You are brilliant, Emma. Don't ever let anyone tell you otherwise. But I have dyslexia. I can't read like other kids. Dyslexia doesn't make you dumb. Einstein had dyslexia. So did Steven Spielberg and Thomas Edison, some of the smartest people in history. She was quiet for a moment. Then a small smile bloomed on her face. I got into the MIT program. What? I gasped. The email came this morning. I didn't want to tell you until after the party. I got in. I pulled the car over, hugged her tight, and we both cried, tears of relief and triumph. My parents called 50 times over the next week. I didn't answer. Finally, They showed up at my house. Emma was at school.
I let them in.
Victoria, we're so sorry. We had no idea Emma was so accomplished. You would have known if you'd paid attention. My dad handed me an envelope. We've revised our estate plan. We're splitting everything equally between Sophia and Emma. I handed it back. Emma doesn't want it. Their jaws dropped. What? She doesn't need your money. She needs your respect, your love, your belief in her. You can't buy that back with an inheritance. My mom was sobbing. How do we fix this? Start by learning about dyslexia. Actually learn, not just dismiss it. We will, I promise. And apologize to Emma. Really apologize. Tell her you were wrong, that she's brilliant. Of course, anything. And understand that rebuilding her trust will take years, not weeks. Years. They nodded, humbled. Emma is at MIT right now in their summer program. She's the youngest student there. She calls me every night, bubbling with excitement, inspired and truly, genuinely happy. My parents are trying. They're reading books about dyslexia, going to therapy, learning. They even sent Emma a card last week, apologizing, telling her how proud they are. Emma read it, a small, almost imperceptible smile gracing her lips. It's a start. She's not ready to forgive them yet. Maybe someday.
But she knows now.
She knows she's brilliant, and that, ultimately, is what matters most. Thank you so much for listening to Emma's story. If this inspired you, please smash that like button and subscribe. I'm curious, what would you have done in my place when your child was publicly humiliated like that? Have you ever had to stand up for someone against the very people who should have loved them most? Tell me what you think in the comments below. I really want to hear your thoughts. Remember, different doesn't mean dumb. It means unique. And sometimes, unique is exactly what the world needs.
Take care.